Hello, everybody. Welcome to lesson 6 of the full Python beginner course. Today, we're going to be learning functions and classes. So let's go on to opening Visual Studio Code, and let's open the folder. We're going to be opening, once again, full Python course, and let's just open that. Okay. So you will start with this, and let's make a new file. Full Python course lesson 6.py. Okay, so first I'm gonna be explaining what functions is. So have you ever thought of making a piece of code like for I in range 10 and then like print I, and then you go like do that another time for I in range 10, print I for I in range 10, and then print I. So as you see, all of these codes are the same. You're probably thinking, how do I make this easier to do? So one way you're probably thinking is like this. For I in range 3, and then for I in range 10, print I. So this is actually incorrect because first of all, it's incorrect because there's an I right here and an I right here. So this has to be a J. So then this also has to be a J. So for I in range 3, for I in range 10, print J. But is there an easier way to do this? You're probably wondering, no, there isn't. But actually, there is. So you can use a function. If you want to use some code multiple times, you can use a function. To make a function, you first have to do def, and the name of your function. We're going to be naming it I print. You can name it anything you want. I'm just going to name it I print. And inside it, we can put parameters, but we're not going to do that right now. And then right here, we can write for I in range 10. For I in range 10, and then print I. Now, let's just comment all of this, and let's run the program. It'll do nothing. Well, do you know why? Because we have to call the function. So we made the function here, so we have to call it. To call it, you have to do the name of your function, I print, and then just like that. That's all you have to call it to do. And then parentheses, and boom, look at that. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But that's only one time. What do? We have to type I print 3 times. Boom. And look at that. It's so much easier. Or is there even an easier way to do this? That's right. For I in range 3. And then just I print. Boom. Look at that. It's the same thing. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And there we go. Look at that. It worked. So that is what a function is. But that's not all to a function. It's not. We can also add parameters. So for example, a parameter is going to be n, which is basically a variable that the user types. And right here, we're going to put n. So whatever the user types here is going to be here. So it's basically like a variable. So if we do I print, but then we have to put n inside it. So we have to put some kind of number inside here. So n equals like 5. So that's going to go. So when we do that, it's going to go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 because n is right here. So whatever number we put in here is going to work. Like 9, for example. Boom, it's 9. So that's an easy way to do it. But But what if we want to add something else, like N and like ending? End, let's name it. And then at the end, you also want to print something. So we're just going to do print end. Now, this could be anything. This has to be an int, and this could be literally anything. Hello. But you have to do it. As you see, at the end, print hello. Because we added 2 parameters. We can also not add a parameter, but that'll give us an error. Because see, it says missing one required positional argument. That means that we have to put end. We have to. Now, if you don't want to do this, you can do, so if you want to do this, you can put, so you could let's just leave it as end for now. So what are we gonna do here? We are going to be doing, now we're gonna learn what a class is. So what is a class? Like, what is it? So let's just delete all of this. A class is some kind of like, so let's think of it as a child. So we have some kind of, so let's open into, it never opens, but there we go. Okay, so let's just say we have a child and the parent. So our child is gonna be a class. So the parent is gonna be the class and the child is gonna be the making of the class. So the parent is gonna be the class. So let's just say, you can think of as class as a school class where there's a teacher and there's a student, and then as many students as you want. So how do you do this? At first, we want to make the teacher. To make the teacher, let's just name it the class teacher. Remember, classes always have to be uppercase, but you don't have to do the parentheses here. And then we want to do def init. Now, this is what it should give you. You can just delete the none. You don't have to worry about that. Now, it's going to give you the self. Do not delete the self. The self means yourself. So it means like the class. So in this class, we're going to give, in this teacher class, we're going to give name. So these are parameters. So these are the parameters. After self are the parameters. Name, then it's going to go age, color. No, you can just leave it as name. Or you can even do students. So let's make it as, actually we don't even have to add students. Just do name. So now after this, let's make self.name equals name. So what does this do? So basically it does that self.name. So that means we can use, so if we make a teacher class, to make a teacher class, we have to go variable like teacher, but lowercase, equals, and then uppercase, teacher, and then like that. So that means that if we want to see, but we also have to give name in there. So let's make the name like Mrs. I'm going to use my, like Mrs. Johnson. So now if we do print teacher, so self means the variable teacher, dot, and then name. So we want to do name. See, it just gives it to us. Name. Then if we run it, it's going to give us the name, Mrs. Johnson, which is just what we put there. Okay. Now let's continue on the class. Now we can add a function into the class. Now what is this going to do? It basically is going to do something to this class. So let's make a function called add student. Actually, we're not really finished with the teacher class too. We can do self dot students equals just the class like that. Always put self. You have to put self. Don't put just students, or else you cannot use it in other functions that we do inside the class. So there we go. So she has 0 students. So let's make def and def, and we're gonna add student, and just put self in there, and we're gonna put another parameter, which is student. So what's student? So student is going to be the student. So that's just going to be a student, which we want to add. So we're going to add self.students. Remember, always self. So if we write students here, just students, then we're going to do students. See, it doesn't show up. Student shows up, but students doesn't, because we have to self. Self dot, whoops, I don't like this. What happened? There we go. Self.students dot append. So append basically just adds anything we put in here to this list at the end of the list. So we want to add a student. So now that we did that, student dot name. Remember that. Because when we add student, we have to have the name of the student, not just the student, because the student is also going to be a class. Okay, so that's going to be it for the class, for the teacher class. So now let's make a class for the student. So just make student. And do a init again, def init, always. And then we're going to also just do the name, and here we're going to do the age too. Okay, so remember self.name equals name, self.age equals age. Okay, so now that we did that, we are going to add nothing else, just it. That's it. And we're just going to give def, and really in here we don't even have to change it. That's all. That's going to be our student. So let's make a student and then add student def check student age, for example. Let's add one more. Self and then student. And let's add print. We're just gonna do print, or we can even do return. So return just gives so basically what return does is when we take a function, and then when it finishes, it grabs anything. So for example, return 1 is basically, so when we do some teacher dot add to check student age, that's just gonna give us, so let's just put a student, like student, I don't know, just a random student. It's gonna just, so this whole thing is gonna be equal to 1. So basically it's like a variable but inside. You can just think of it as that. Okay, so, but we're not gonna return 1. We're gonna return student dot age. Okay, so that's just what we're just gonna return. Okay, so now let's make a couple of students, like student, like Rob, like I don't know, Max. Let's make it Max is gonna be one student. Then I'm gonna put Max in here, and the age is gonna be 9. Then let's put like Jack equals also a student. We can make multiple students and multiple teachers. So we can make another teacher, like teacher 2 equals teacher, like Mrs. I don't know, Mrs. Callie. I have nothing else. Just making up names. Then this is gonna be Jack, and the age is gonna be 11. And there we go. So let's just make let's make 3 students. Like let's also add like Kate equals a student, and then this is gonna be Kate and we're gonna make the age 10. And let's just add one more, like Kyla. Kyla equals student, and we're gonna name it Kyla. And let's add the age 8. Okay, there we go. So we can also change these to like to a John, like that. You can make it like short or like this one's gonna be Callie. Don't make them all uppercase, just make it John. Okay, so let's add some students to some classes. So first we're gonna make John, which is a teacher. So we can also just do this. So that's gonna be the students, that's gonna be the teacher. And we're gonna do John dot add student, and we're gonna add Max. Then we're gonna do John dot add student, and we're gonna add Kate. Now we're gonna do now we're gonna add Callie some. So Callie dot add student, and let's make it Jack, and then Callie dot add student Max. I meant Max we already did. Kyla. There we go. Okay. So now if we check each person's, so now if we check each so now if we check this student's, so now let's check each teacher's class. So to do that, we can even just do so John, print John dot students, and then we're gonna print Callie, dot students. So now this will give us Max and Kate are in Mrs. Johnson's class, and Jack and Kyla are in Mrs. Callie's class. Okay, so now let's check the age of like Max. So print John dot check student age, and we're gonna check Max's age, and we're gonna print Callie dot check student age, and we're gonna check let's check Kyla's. Okay, so let's run the program. Look at that. Max's age is 9 and Kyla's age is 8. Let's go. It worked. Now I can add a lot of these things. Like in student, you can add like deaf, I don't know, like help student. Which let's just say each student will have like a health bar. A health bar, and let's just do health equals just 50. It's gonna be help student, and then we're gonna add like self, and then we're gonna do student. I don't know. And we can go like if student dot health is less than 90, is less or equal to 90, then we're just gonna do student dot health plus equals 90. That just adds 90 to the health. I meant 10. Else we're just gonna do student dot health minus equals to 10. Okay, so basically let's just help Kyla 3 times. So we're gonna do so let's just say Max helps Kyla. So Max dot help student, and Kyla. And then we're going to do max dot help student, Kyla. That's going to be 70. Max dot help student, Kyla. That's going to be 80. Max dot help student, Kyla. And then max dot help student, Kyla. Kyla. And then max dot help student. So this will actually, max dot help student is going to be Kyla. So Kyla's age will now be 90 if you think about it. Print Kyla. Print Kyla dot health. Oh, look at that, it's 90 because it subtracted 10 at the last one. But if we subtract this, we get this, so it's 100. Yay! Okay, so that's going to be it for this lesson. You can add more functions to the student or teacher class. You can even make your own. So that's going to be it for this lesson. See ya. Bye!